Newsnight collaboration reveals that a key piece of counter-terrorism software introduced in 2014 could have actually hampered investigations into extremism. Our correspondent Richard Watson has a story of the system that was deployed in police forces across the UK to aid intelligence sharing. Also tonight, the Prime Minister says 600 migrants crossed the Channel today, and tomorrow he will announce details of a deal with Rwanda designed to address the challenge of illegal migration. We'll be speaking to the Bishop of Durham and a former Border Force chief. The Justice Minister in QC, Lord Wolfson, has broken ranks today and has become the first member of the government to resign over what he calls the official response to breaches of law which show that he and the Prime Minister do not share the views on these matters. And as Mariupol continues to fend off the Russian attack, a report by international observers finds what is described as a catalogue of inhumanity perpetrated on Ukraine by Russia, which the report says has broken international humanitarian law. I'll be speaking to a former head of Joint Forces Command. Good evening. A key intelligence database used by police to investigate extremists was not fit for purpose when introduced in 2014, a former counter-terrorism officer has told Newsnight. The officer, who retired in 2018, says the National Common Intelligence application had serious flaws. BBC Newsnight has collaborated with BuzzFeed News on a detailed investigation into problems with the IT system, which cost hundreds of millions of pounds and was designed to allow police forces across the UK to share secret intelligence seamlessly. The system had been deployed in the northwest of England before the Manchester Arena attack in May 2017, in which 22 people were killed. We cannot be sure if the problems we reveal tonight hampered investigations into the perpetrator, Salman Abedi, and contributed to the failure to stop the attack. But one of the lawyers for bereaved families told us tonight he is deeply concerned. Richard Watson reports.
Happy birthday, dear Safi.
Hello, this is Safi. This is my dad. This is my brother. This is me. And this is my mum.
Beautiful, stunning.
We work as a chip shop.
Once in a lifetime, 8-year-old daughter. That's the stakes. The guilt and cruelty of her life and the right to live, and the very little time that we had with her. How can I replace that? How can we replace that?
22nd of May 2017. Salman Abedi walks into Manchester Arena, bent under the weight of the rucksack bomb on his back.
Oh my God.
He detonates the device, killing 22 people attending an Ariana Grande concert. Safi Roussos was the youngest to be killed. At the public inquiry into the attack, the most deadly since the London bombings in 2005, her father was deeply critical of counter-terrorism police and MI5.
The response, the security services on this atrocity should go down in history as one of the worst failures from start to finish, and that's what we should learn from this. Thank you.
I mean, look at the facts. Let's go on facts. I'm not here to criticise what happened to my daughter that night. I'm here to criticise the system that this country's got in place. There's so much information that they could have determined what he was up to.
The ongoing public inquiry into the Manchester Arena attack will consider whether there were intelligence failures. Most of the evidence about intelligence held on Salman Abedi was heard in secret. But it's already clear from what's been made public that there were missed opportunities to understand the threat he posed. He'd been under investigation by MI5. Family members were supporters of the Libyan Islamic Fighting Group, proscribed in 2005 for links to Al-Qaeda. 4 days before the attack, he travelled back from Libya, but wasn't questioned. On 2 occasions, MI5 failed to act on highly relevant intelligence received in the months before the attack. It was thought to involve criminality, and its significance was not fully appreciated at the time. Counter-terrorism police had on file 1,300 text messages he'd exchanged with a convicted terrorist in the UK, who he'd visited in prison twice. But police say they only identified him by name after the attack. The dots weren't joined.
We're talking about who's in front of you and the evidence that you already hold and you're already looking through. If you don't join the dots up, then how is our country going to be secure? What chance does my daughter have? What chance do the other 21 people have?
Newsnight has collaborated with the BuzzFeed news investigation that reveals the inside story of alleged serious flaws in a counter-terrorism computer system crucial for managing risk. It's called the National Common Intelligence Application, NCIA, and it had been deployed to the northwest of England by early 2017, before the Manchester Arena bombings. So could the problems we're going to reveal tonight have contributed to the failure to stop the attack? We can't be sure, but a well-placed source told me that the performance of counter-terrorism police IT systems was a significant weakness at that time.
Okay, Richard. Abby? Yes.
We've also spoken to this former counter-terrorism police officer who's decided to go public with his concerns.
Well, the idea was to have one pot of intelligence. To have it in one area is a fantastic thing. Not on paperwork, it can't get lost, it's there, it backs up. It was a way forward. But from the very start, the application itself was just not fit for purpose.
In 2013, the police launched a pilot project in Scotland to develop the NCIA system. Tony Thorne spent 6 months on the pilot, but just weeks in, he says there were serious problems.
It was a sort of training operation where we had everything running live out in the streets as well. And we set up a proper sort of operation cell. And we were trying to give in sort of, they call it live feeds all the time to make this operation as work as realistic as possible. I don't think we got past, I think, second or third feed before it just fell apart.
In what way did it fall apart?
Just couldn't get the information out to people, couldn't record the information, couldn't store it. People just couldn't access the system. They were just sort of, it's clunky, it was clumsy, it was complicated, it was not user-friendly.
Worse than that, he says he found it was producing different results for identical searches by officers sat side by side.
They were watched and they came out with different data. So the bio details that were coming back were completely different, or there was, instead of having 10 reports coming back, there was 5. There's something wrong there.
And he found the system could lead to vital intelligence being lost.
So I took a report that had been written, I was able to go in and edit it, and it couldn't be unedited. So basically, that report was lost. So what was in there, it was lost. And I said, well, you should be locked down, you shouldn't be able to do that.
So you were finding evidence that actually some data could just be destroyed?
Yeah, just written over.
Tony warned his bosses in 2014 that the system wasn't ready. But it was deployed to Scotland and other forces, including in the northwest of England.
They had the chance to put it on hold, to stop, because we had a system there that was working, and we knew it worked because we had arrested people, we had Operation Guava, so it did work.
So it was too early to be rolled out?
Oh, 100% roll out too quickly. It should never have gone out.
Delays meant the Met Police didn't get it in London until 2019. But this police document shows it was rolled out in the Northwest 2 years earlier, before the Manchester Arena bombing. So could the flaws that Tony had been warning about since 2014 have been contributory factors to the failure to stop the attack? What did you feel when you woke up that morning in 2017 and heard there'd been a really severe bomb attack in Manchester?
Deep down, physically sick. I couldn't 100% say, yes, NCIA was the cause of it, but it'd be a factor to it. And not just the system itself, the management of it, the training of people to use it, the usability.
A government spokesperson told us,
"It is a matter for the chair of the Manchester Arena inquiry to decide whether the systems counter-terrorism policing used impacted their ability to prevent the attack."
Adding that NCIA greatly enhanced counter-terrorism work in the years after the Manchester attack. Counter-terrorism Policing, the body that oversees the work of counter-terrorism units across Britain, told us that substantial improvements were made following a significant review after the spate of attacks in 2017. It didn't deny our evidence that there were significant problems before this, but said after 2017,
32 late-stage terror attacks have been disrupted and saved many lives.
adding that
NCIA has been an essential tool in helping us achieve this.
And it denied that warnings about flaws had been ignored. Tony Thorne left the police in 2018, a few years early on grounds of ill health. But the thought that the NCIA problems he'd warned about 4 years earlier could have hampered counter-terrorism investigations still haunts him.
8 years I've been trying to bring this issue to the surface, and I've gone to some big people. I've gone to Priti Patel. I've gone to the Home Office. I've wrote in there and I put sort of CC'd in my letters and my emails to Boris Johnson and other professional standards departments throughout the country to say, look, Manchester Police, I even copied them into it. And not a reply of anybody except for the Home Office, who sent a letter and said, if I've got any issues, I need to go back to my professional standards department.
So no one's actually addressed the substantive points you're raising?
None at all.
Safi Roussos' father, for one, is grateful for Tony's decision to speak out.
I want to give him a hug. I want to shake his hand. Because I commend people that will come forward and say, do you know what, guys, this is wrong.
You said some very strong words in the inquiry about a huge intelligence failure. Do you stand behind that now?
Oh, 100%, yes, absolutely. I'll be the first to say, we can't stop every terrorist attack. We can't, and I don't expect them to, because, these people work in dark places. But we can't stop the ones that flag a white flag on front of your office windows for many, many years.
Safi!
We can't stop everything. But please stop the ones that wave at you.
And Richard Watson, who made that report, is here. Richard, first of all, it is very unusual to hear so openly from a former counter-terrorism officer.
Yes, that's absolutely right. His testimony is extraordinary, really, and he gave me an insight into why he gave that interview. He says he's spoken out about the NCIA programme and the people who ran it in the interest of informing the public. He has not divulged anything that would be damaging to national security, nor giving any information, intelligence or methods that would jeopardise or threaten national security.
And you've also been contacted by one of the lawyers acting for the bereaved families at the public inquiry into the Manchester attack.
That's right. I spoke this evening to John Cooper, QC, about this story, and he has yet to take instructions from his clients, but he is deeply concerned about our evidence and the interview with Tony Thorne. He says there's a lot of information his clients still don't know about the attack because they weren't privy to all the information at the inquiry. But we just simply don't know for a fact whether the NCIA problems that we're highlighting did result in the failure of the police investigation into Abedi. But it's certainly possible. And John Cooper, QC, now wants to find out much more about this, and he says he's going to try and find out now on behalf of his clients.
Richard, thanks very much indeed. In the past few minutes, the government has announced that tomorrow the Prime Minister will deliver the details of what Number 10 is describing as a world-first migration and economic development partnership signed by the Home Secretary with Rwanda. Action, they say, to address the global challenge of illegal migration and tackle small boat crossing. I'm joined by our policy editor, Lewis Scudo. Lewis, we were getting more details from this. Guardian have got details.